Eric Sage is with us in this segment. He is a hearing instrument specialist with Ascent Audiology. In our last program, we spoke with Matthew Wester, who is a doctor of audiology at Ascent Audiology, which has locations in Glendale, Goodyear, and Surprise. And what we've learned is that around about 50 years of age, hearing loss can begin. It takes many forms. And one of the things that can be done is it is addressable through hearing aids. And so we're going to spend our time with Eric Sage today talking about hearing instruments. Eric, good to have you with us.
Good to be here. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Tell me this, if we met at, say, a dinner party, and I said, hi, I'm Bill Brady, and you are, and you said, well, I'm Eric Sage. And I said, Eric, what do you do? How would you describe the job and the work that you do?
I help people hear better, and I do that. I do meet a lot of people. I kind of am a musician on the weekend, and so a lot of people try and guess when they're sitting out there and they see us up on stage, what each of us does. They're like, we're sitting here guessing what each of you do for a living, and nobody guesses that I'm a hearing instrument specialist, and I test people for hearing loss and put hearing aids on them. And then it always goes into, well, I bet you have a lot of hearing loss because you're around loud music. Not necessarily, because there's a lot of ways to making sure at a younger age to wear the earplugs when you go to concerts, because that is where loud rock music, loud noises, construction, that's where the hearing loss really can begin and the damage to your hearing. So I say, I help people hear better.
Are you able to, in normal conversation with people, get a sense of whether they've had some hearing loss?
Right away.
Right away?
Yeah. I can pretty much tell.
What do you notice?
Sometimes they just don't answer.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, I'd say 3 out of the 5 members of my band have hearing loss as well. So when you're talking, they just don't look, they don't answer, they smile and nod. What? Huh? Or, if they're looking away, if somebody has normal hearing and they're facing away from you, they know that you're talking to them, or say, Larry or whoever, and they know that you're talking to them. If they don't, they don't. And then reading lips, especially if they're older. I mean, my mom herself, she just automatically starts reading lips. It's kind of funny.
And so the reading lips is a supplement for the actual hearing, that if you can read the lips and you can get some of what's being said, you can kind of compensate for the difference?
Well, they don't even realize that they're doing it at that point in time. They don't realize. So there are times when I'm in with a patient and talking to them, and they're like, oh, I hear fine. And then I'll put my hand over my mouth and then talk normal, and then they go like, aha. Okay.
Really? That would be an interesting thing for people who are listening to this program to test in their own home to see if you covered your mouth, whether the person that you think is hearing you just fine is still hearing you.
You got to be close enough, but I can see where their eyes are looking, mm-hmm. and their eyes are looking at the lips, whether they really realize it or not.
So they're, in essence, they have a skill in lip reading that they may not even realize.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I say, oh, you're reading my lips. No, I'm not.
Eric Sage is with us. He is a hearing instrument specialist at Ascent Audiology, which has locations in Glendale, Goodyear, and Surprise. So this is this hearing loss begins in the 50s or so, and continues for the rest of someone's life. Do people always know that they have had some degree of hearing loss?
Do they know that they have it, or have had it, or realize that situations that they have gone through when they're, younger and going through have added to that damage that happens slowly?
Do they know? I think if you were talking about eyesight and you were able to look at something and say, I used to be able to watch the TV from further away and be able to really fully appreciate what's going on, but now I got to be closer to it. They would notice that there maybe was something wrong with a prescription for their glasses, for example. But with hearing, do they know that they have an issue with hearing loss, unless, let's say, their daughter is saying, "Dad, get a hearing aid"?
And that's a broad statement, because everybody is different. We go from people who are in denial about it, people who know that they have it, but they'll say they don't. They'll say, well, no, it's, my wife, she doesn't look at me, or she's in the other room and she's, which also can be a true, two things can be true at the same time. They're not getting their attention before they're talking to them. I mean, if my wife's in the other room and she's talking to me, I could be reading a book or doing something else, and unless she's told me that she's asking me a question, I don't know. Are you talking to me? And I have great hearing. But most people do know, even if they don't want to admit it. Some people do. Some people do not. Some people think that they hear just fine until even when we do the hearing test and we actually show them where it is, and then pop some hearing aids on them, adjusted to their hearing loss, because each of those frequencies, and the most normal one is the high frequency. So, and our job is to take that frequency and bump it up in that level, up to the normal level, as close as possible. And once that's on, they're like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Well,
I would imagine, I guess I do.
Yeah. I would imagine that there was a time, let's say you have a husband and wife who've been together for 30, 40 years. There was a time where they could talk to each other in the other room, and without the aid of a hearing aid, they could hear what the other was saying. But as they reach a different point in life, they might realize, oh, he's saying something, but I can't make it out, which would be the indicator that there maybe has been a change, and an actionable change at that time.
And the other person, the spouse, always kind of knows it. And, normally it's both of them are kind of having the same hearing loss, so that doesn't help the situation either.
And then there's that.